Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Fulltime Killer, a Hong Kong action flick from 2001 that was co-directed by Johnnie and Ka-fai. It stars Andy Lau, Takashi Sorimachi, Kelly Lin, and Simon Yam. So Andy Lau plays a hitman who likes to have fun by killing his targets with a flamboyant style. Unfortunately, most of his jobs result in messy situations that cause collateral damage, and they also frequently make it on the evening news. Now, because of this, underworld contractors rate him lower than his prime competitor, a Japanese hitman by the name of O, played by Takashi Sorimachi, who usually kills his targets in ways that draw less attention to the situation. Well, Andy has grown frustrated with the lower payments that are provided to him for his jobs, so he begins stalking O and seduces O's housekeeper in the process, played by Kelly Lin. Meanwhile, a policeman, played by Simon Yam, is hot on both of their trails. Now, Fulltime Killer actually begins with the Japanese hitman, who is shown to be rather merciless right from the opening scene. Then we immediately get our introduction to Andy Lau, which is glorious fun as it involves a prison cell full of grenades. Now, Lau's character enjoys watching action movies. That's actually said in the film, and his character is influenced by action movies. In fact, there are a few direct references to other action films, which I won't spoil for you, but it makes sense because Lau's character is a big fan of those kinds of films. Actually, the plot synopsis in and of itself should bring to mind one particular action flick from the mid-90s. But I want to emphasize that Fulltime Killer feels a little bit different than from most action films. For example, Kelly Lin's character has interaction with both hitmen throughout the course of the film, but the way that it's written and executed feels genuine. She's not just a throwaway love interest or something like that, because her scenes have charm to them and they help to showcase different aspects of all of the characters, which in turn helps to create some multidimensionality. Also, the final half hour is set up very differently from a typical action film of this kind. The focus of the story shifts to another character's perspective, which is kind of a risky move on the part of the filmmakers, but it somehow adds another dimension and makes the ending more memorable than it would have been otherwise. The fact that the cast is pretty loaded also helps quite a bit. This is one of Andy Lau's most purely entertaining performances because he exaggerates his showmanship to the point of being comical. He really chews the scenery in this film, and he's really good at doing that. Every time he's on screen, I have a big smile on my face because his character is just so full of himself. Everyone gives a good performance in this movie, but Lau definitely steals the show in this. Even some of the side characters play off of him well. There's one hilarious scene involving some side gangster who gets really mad at Lau's constant references to other movies, or just to movies in general, and I laughed out loud at that moment. It was really funny. But Fulltime Killer is primarily an action film, so how is the action? Well, it's good stuff. It is good stuff that is a combination of over-the-top, high-octane shootouts mixed in with more realistic shootouts. It's kind of a mix of both. There's one particular sequence that stands out. It takes place in an apartment complex with both hitmen attempting to fight off dozens of cops that are kind of storming the building. A water hose is used effectively during that scene, which is a memorable oddity, I guess you could say. Overall, the action is nicely shot and plentiful enough to satisfy fans of action films, so that's a big positive. In terms of flaws, really, there are a few moments that you could consider to be contrived or improbable. For example, Simon Yam shows up at a library to research the history of one of the hitmen when he finds out his name, but the other hitman just so happens to be at that same library at that time doing the same research. So, there are certain scenes like that. It only happens a few times really in the film, but it was noticeable. Overall, Fulltime Killer is a stylish, engaging, and fun action movie that is also memorable due to some of its little quirks. For those of you who want to explore Johnnie To's filmography, this one is probably a must-see, I would say. It's currently available on DVD with English subtitles. It's also available on Amazon streaming in the United States. It makes a fantastic double feature with the Choi Hark film Time and Tide, which I will be reviewing next. And as always, I'll see you next time.